Hey guys, it's Mizzy again. So we're going to take a look at one of the other problems from the review. A lot of you had issues with number 3, which is the cosine of x equal to -1. Okay, and then they also gave you a restriction. They said it was between pi, or it was less than or equal to pi, and 2 pi, right? Yeah. X less than or equal to 2 pi. So I know that a lot of you are struggling with how to graph these. So the first thing you want to do is always do your ratios of sides. So cosine is what two sides? Well, it's adjacent over hypotenuse, which in terms of x, y, and r is going to give us x over r, okay? So the only way for this quantity to equal -1 is if we have -1 over 1. And you're going to say, okay, Missy, how do you know that? The reason why I know that is because cosine is x over r. Well, r always has to be positive. We know that because it's the radius. Radius can never be negative, which means that the only thing that can carry that negative sign is the top half of our fraction here, which is the x, okay? So x is the thing that has to be negative. And the only way that we can get -1 in a ratio is if we have -1 over 1, right? So this tells me that I have an x coordinate of -1, and I'm going to have an r coordinate of 1, okay, or an r side, okay. So you go to draw your, coordinate plane system thing, whatever, okay, and we're going to pick a different color so we can see it better, okay, and you're like, oh, okay, so I know I'm going to be between pi and 2 pi. Where does it go? Okay, well, the first hint should be that our side x and our hypotenuse r have the same length. Now, even though one of them's negative in terms of, distance, length is always measured as the absolute value. So they have the same length of sides, okay, which is a problem because we can't have a right triangle that has two sides that are the exact same. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, Missy, yeah, we do. We have the 45, 45, 90 that we learned about, right? This one has a side of 1 and a side of 1. So it could totally work. Well, okay, the problem is that this is a radius. So the fact that they define it as a radius means that it can't happen. Why? Because in our 45, 45, 90, guess what the radius is? Square root of 2, okay? So this sides being the same thing only works if you're talking about x and y. If you're talking about x and r, anytime you have a side that's the same length as the hypotenuse or as the radius, it's only going to be a line, okay? It's not going to be a triangle. You're not going to make any triangle at all. So what this tells you is you're just going to have a line that goes through the point x is -1. So you find x is -1. He's out here. So this point is -1, 0. Okay? And that's your line. That's all you need. No triangles, no nothing. And you know this, again, because your radius and your side are the same length. The only time that happens is in the unit circle when you're on an axis. Okay, so now that we've established where we are, it says to solve for x up here, right? So basically, what angle measure in terms of radians is going to give us this value here? Well, to get here, how far did we have to go? Oh, well, we had to go pi radians, since we're on that axis that's pi. So our answer is x equals pi.